meeting. This meeting was scheduled weeks ago. During my tenure as mayor, we've had 2 such meetings a year to discuss city business. Tonight's agenda is the following. Number 1, my department heads will each discuss what is occurring in our great city. Number 2, then citizens, just like at city council meetings, will be able to ask questions or make comments for 3 minutes about city business. Just like city council meetings, a limited number of the public can make those questions or comments. When the period begins, you must raise your hand, state your name, and state your address, just like city council meetings. This meeting has been called by me. This meeting will be civil. If not, you will be asked to leave. We're going to start with our department heads. We'll start with Justin. You'd like to talk about what's going on in your department.
What's going on in my department is that's going to directly affect you. There's a new city website coming on board, which will make it easier for you to find information, and also link to the social media for the city, for the mayor, for his Facebook and Twitter. We're probably going to throw the police department's Facebook page on there as well, so that everybody has real-time access to what they're seeing and what's going on. I was just approached by a member of City Council about setting up the cars to have access to the camera system to try to alleviate some of the, that way at least the department has some issues, they can see it real time as it's going on and respond accordingly.
First of all, my name is Justin Simpson. I'm the Recreation Director for the city. First of all, I'd like to touch on the 100th anniversary of the band shell. Starting June 1st, the band shell will be dedicated as 100 years old this year. That ceremony starts at 6 p.m. and it will be the Repaz Band. I know that Sally Wiegand has worked very hard and has set concerts up every Sunday night at the band shell through the months of June, July, and August. Secondly, the Summer Parks program begins June 9th, and that's for children ages 5 to 15, and that runs to August 22nd. Third, East End Pool will be in operation this year. The opening day will be Saturday, May 24th, Sunday, May 25th, and Monday, May 26th, and then it will close during the week, and it'll reopen whenever school lets out. Lastly, most of you know that we're in the process of redoing Memorial Pool. If anybody would like a card for sponsoring the pool project, it was put forth by City Council to the general public to help raise the $50,000 towards this project. So if anybody would like to contribute or be part of that team to raise that money, you can see me afterwards and we can talk about it.
Mr. Grado.
My name is John Grado. I'm the Community and Economic Development Director for the city and the city engineer. The Community Development Department, we handle federal funding that we receive from HUD department and continues to do single-family owner-occupied housing rehabilitation funding assistance for people. We also provide assistance in mortgage assistance for home ownership for people that qualify based on their income. Part of our funds are used for public facility improvements, such as the pool, Memorial Pool this year is $250,000 of community development money. We also, department tries to secure additional state funding, which we did from the State Department of Community and Natural Resources. And the city is also putting $200,000 in it. So we've got about a $700,000 funding assistance for the Memorial Pool. Some other projects, last year we started $1.5 million street improvement program. That has a variety of funding, CDBG, general fund, and Act 13 money, which is the money we get from the gas part of that. So last year and this year, early this spring, we're continuing to do a number of street improvement projects. You'll see that occurring. We've also, the next big project really is Reach Road. We're finishing that. That's in our industrial park. There's about $1.5 million worth of work to be done this year on Reach Road. Another project is the Brodart, the old Brodart warehouse. Most of you are aware, they're at the intersection of Oliver and Memorial Avenue under an Act 2 remediation site. There's a 40-unit affordable housing apartment complex being placed in there currently. I mean, if you go down that area, that way, you'll see it's they're starting to frame it, and we also will have 32 units of townhomes. So that's a project that we're working with the county, DEP, and private developers. There's another one going on in Almond Street Commons. That's a senior housing project that that developer received some tax credits and will probably start some work by the end of this year. So within the next 2 years, we'll have over 100 new units of housing in the city. Okay, and then the mayor's project, I know, 2014. That's another kind of private developer-driven project, which is right in the Hepburn parking lot. As everybody knows, the new YMCA is currently under construction on the campus of the Susquehanna Health System. That's a $250 million improvement in that area between the health system and the YMCA. And when they vacate downtown, a private developer intends to construct a sports complex, plus you'll see a new green area, something you'd see in some of the major cities where you've got some green space within our downtown. So, and then also trade and transit too. That's the central location for the downtown city bus system. That's being expanded on the site of the old Midtown parking deck. So.
My name's John Markley. I'm the Assistant General Manager for Streets, Parks, and Flood Control. Just give you a little heads up on what we're and our department's doing. April the 19th through May the 12th, we're doing our brush cleanup. That's only limbs, yard debris, clippings out of your yard. No plastic bags, things like that, please. Don't cut down a whole tree, lay it out there and expect us to pick it up. It's only for limbs and brush, things like that. Pothole patching, all winter long we were out trying to do our best with the coal patch. In between the spring cleanup right now, we're in the middle of doing our spring cleanup, plus trying to get a patch crew out at least once a week of hot mix, where it'll more of a permanent fix. Streets Department last year put down rebuilt nearly 40 to 50 inlets. That's the catch basins that are there. We had a contract to do something like that. It cost over $10,000 per inlet, or about 3 of them anyway. The department has about 120 miles of highway to take care of, and about 50 miles of alleys. So every time it snows or whatever, keep in mind, we only have 25 people. We're out there, we double up our departments. We're trying to do our plowing, open up the streets the best we can. Always keep in mind when you call up, you say, hey, my alley's not done, we gotta clear the street first. The alleys are usually last. So please, that would help us a lot in eliminating them calls. Parks Department, we have 9 parks, 150 acres of ground to keep care of, brushing, clean up, just like you do your yard. Weed whacking and trying to keep them clean, policing them all the time. That's with 6 people. And out of that 6 people, one's a forester and one's a mechanic out of that department. So we got to keep that in mind. Hazardous tree program. We started in 2013. In 2014, we removed 23 hazardous trees. Luckily, the program we have right now, if you listen to anything that's going on, read the newspaper, Royal Slock, the tours doing them, when there's a hard windstorm going through, the trees are falling across the street. With our tree program, the city of Wmspt employees are not called out that often for a tree being knocked down across the street. Traffic Control Division, we have 5 people there. We take care of all your traffic lights. We also, a couple years ago, I'd say about 8 years ago, we bought the city of Williamsport purchased all the street lights, over 2,000 of them. So on the pole itself has a website and a phone number to call. If your light is not working, all you gotta do is go to the website or call that number, and within 5 days, we should be out there fixing that street light for you. They all belong to the city of Williamsport, along with our 52 intersections of traffic signals. We do all the line painting, all the sign work, and all the maintenance on our public buildings like City Hall, the firehouses, and so on. Flood control, that's that nice walk you have down there for walking down the levee. We have 12.5 miles of levee system we have to take care of with 2 people. That's from one end of the city, clear into the oil side. 12.5 miles, one way. Keep in mind, like how many times we got back and forth to mow the levee on both sides. That's being done with 2 people. And we maintain it's done with 9 pump stations we have during heavy rainfall. And when it's heavy rainfall, when the river's not at 10 feet or above, the pump stations are not up. You'd be surprised how many people call, turn on our pump station, my catch basin's not working. Well, it'd be great if you went out and helped us by cleaning off the debris that's on the catch basin. Really, it's really the property owner's responsibility. If people get on the phone, they call us. We're going to get there as soon as we can. Keep in mind, we only have so many people. Other than that, Mayor?
Bob Block, want to talk about the bond rating?
We were rated single A for our bond ratings. First time in a long time that the city's ever been rated. We have incurred borrowings in the past, however, typically notes, which didn't require a rating. So it was a positive rating for the city, and with that rating, with the borrowing, we have a number of projects, which everyone else is speaking of, that we're able to complete and finish up the financing for.
Thank you. Councilman Smith?
Hi, my name is Skip Smith, and I'm an elected council person for the city of Williamsport, and I chair 2 committees. I chair the Public Safety Committee, and I chair the Public Works Committee. There are 3 members on each of the committees, and I'd like to start with the Public Safety Committee, and we have Councilman Randy Allison and Don Noviello. Would you please acknowledge that you're here? On the Public Works Committee, we have Chairwoman, Councilperson Bonnie Katz, and also Don Noviello. The purpose of having committees with City Council is that when the administration has an ordinance or a resolution, that ordinance or resolution is brought first to committee. The ordinance or resolution is discussed at the committee level. Sometimes we make recommendations. We work with the city officials that have brought that ordinance or resolution to the committee. Sometimes we have work sessions, and those ordinances and resolutions, we will either pass them or deny them. They then go to full council of 7 members, of which the 7 members then will decide whether or not that resolution or ordinance will pass, and they may also at that point in time add amendments to the ordinance or resolution. Currently in the public safety area, when we meet once a month. Also present is our codes official administrator, Joe Girardi, the fire chief, the police chief, citizens corps, and also neighborhood watch people are involved. They give reports each month. We receive fire reports and police reports, and also status updates on what citizens corps and neighborhood watch are doing. We are currently have just started and put in place in March the new records management system that we've been waiting for over a period of time, which allows the police officers now to do their reports in their vehicles. It's sent back to a main server. It provides more efficiency for the officer that's on duty, and we also have an immediate record of the incident that occurred. It's also going to allow us to look at crime statistics in live motion. In other words, if there was a neighborhood where there was burglaries occurring, it will immediately show the status of that on a map on every police car that is on duty at that point in time. I also have chaired, along with Chief Forsman, the surveillance camera project. And I just want to take just a few seconds to say that there's a lot of misleading information that's being put out on various websites and Facebooks, that there is no truth to a lot of things that you're seeing there about the surveillance camera project. The cameras indeed work. We even had enough funding to purchase a high-definition camera, which is located in one of the parks. And if any of you have further questions about that, I would be glad to address the technical part. Later on, Chief Forsman and Assistant Chief Miller would be able to address the police portion of that project. In the Public Works Committee, we deal with streets. We also deal with the flood control system, and some of the projects that we're working with right now are the study of the levee project. We have had to spend, through the federal government requirements from FEMA, we've had to spend $300,000 on a survey of what condition our levee, which was built in the 1950s, is in. Once that survey is completed, which should be in July of this year, we're going to be notified of what we have to do, if anything, to bring the levee up to certification. At this current time, we don't know whether we're going to have to spend $5 or $5 million. So this is a major project the Public Works Committee is currently involved in. We're also working in conjunction with the Public Safety Committee on the Lights On initiative that City Council passed $50,000 in funding in the budget for this year for improving lighting in certain areas of the city and adding lighting to other parts of the city. We're looking at our budget. We're going to be putting in LED lamps, which are going to cut the electricity cost, which is going to allow us to probably add more lamps as we go on. This is a deterrent to criminal activity, and it's something that the mayor and city council have agreed that this is how we should go forward. So that really gives you a very quick synopsis of what we're involved in currently.
Good evening. My name is Dean Heimbaugh. I am the fire chief for the Wmspt Bureau of Fire.
I'm sorry, was there a question?
Yeah, I was wondering if you were planning on...
We're going to wait till we're finished.
Okay, all right.
We're just going to go, and then we'll open up to questions in a few minutes. We'll get to you.
Okay.
Okay? Okay.
All right.
Keep Heimbaugh.
We currently have a total of 33 firefighters on the department and 1 administrative aide. As of today, the department received 759 calls. Of these calls, 41 were fires, 285 medical calls, 3 extrication calls, that means cutting them out. Hazardous conditions, we responded to 33, 143 service calls, 15 good intent calls, 56 calls that we were canceled on the way, and 183 alarm calls. We also have a fire prevention division. The Bureau of Fire has its own division, which is comprised of a chief and an inspector, and they are currently stationed in the Newberry section at Reichert Avenue. This division works hand in hand with the Codes Department and Police Department. So far in 2014, they have conducted 45 inspections. This division strives to inform the community on fire safety through education. Wmspt Bureau of Fire attends public safety events, visits schools, preschools, and businesses throughout the year to teach fire safety and education. Under training so far, in 2014, our department has had training in aerial and pump operations, and also bailing out training if a firefighter gets trapped in the room. Such training is vital to our department, as we must keep up with the current standards initiated by the National Fire Protection Association. Under car seats and bike helmets, we also do this in the Bureau of Fire in conjunction with Lycoming County Safe Kids. We offer free car seat checks to anyone in Lycoming County throughout the year. We also offer free bicycle helmets to children who do not have any. So if you need one, stop by the fire station, we'll fit them for one. If you're interested in either of these programs, I have some handouts up here. Under Project Lifesaver, the Bureau of Fire mission of the Project Lifesaver International is to help provide rapid response to saving lives and reduce potential for serious injuries from adults and children who wander away due to Alzheimer's, autism, Down syndrome, or dementia. We have serviced 22 of these clients so far this year. Thank you.
Mr. Girardi.
Yes, my name is Joe Girardi. I'm the codes administrator for the City of Wmspt. We have a staff of 5 inspectors, a zoning officer, myself, office manager, receptionist, and also a street superintendent who works part-time, who basically goes out and about. That job's been filled for about 6-8 months now, and his job is to go out and check to make sure that the streets that are being cut by the utility companies are being put back properly to eliminate the bumps and everything you have in the roadway. As far as my department goes, again, our inspectors are involved in health inspections, vendor license, event permits. We do all new construction, whether it's new, like the YMCA, we do all the inspection work, review of the drawings, or if it's additions, renovations to the house, installation of new furnaces. We also do all property maintenance, which is your call-ins, where someone calls in concerning garbage at a neighbor's property, bad sidewalks, the grass is 12 inches high, overcrowding issues, exterior conditions of the property, interior and exterior. That's all handled through my department. 6 years ago, we started out with about 250 blighted properties in the city. A blighted property is a little different than a property maintenance violation. A blighted property is a property that's falling down, windows are broken, there's holes in the roof, no one's living in it, the power's been cut off, it's been abandoned for years. We're down to about 48 properties now in the city that are still that way out of 200 and some. We also handle about 6 years ago, we handled about 200 property maintenance violations a year. We're down to about 600 call-in property maintenance violations. What we intend to do is when we go out, my guys are instructed when they go out to look at a property, not only to look at that property, but to look at the properties around it. We also do what we call blighted areas, where we'll go into a fixed area. Right now, we're in the Memorial Avenue, Scott Street, because a large project is going on. We're up in that area. We're also down on the Gateway project on 3rd Street. We're handling an area from Washington Boulevard to Grove to the river to Mulberry Street, where we're in that whole entire area looking for all those violations that I just mentioned. We also got involved with the new rental ordinance that was started. To give you a couple of statistics before I got here. Sorry, I got to put my glasses on. I'm getting old. Basically, what we've done since the beginning of the year, January, we've issued 30 citations to 11 rental property owners. We have 10 more citations to issue to 10 other property owners. We issued 3 closures for a 3-month period of time for violations that occur, such as no registration, no rental property inspection. We go back out for a violation under the property maintenance code. That's 3 strikes at the 6-month period of time. Your unit is shut down for 3 months. And recently, and I can let you guys talk about the other 2 closures if you want, which we did. Okay. We also on Friday shut down 2 properties, 2 rental units for dealing of drugs, okay, which is a automatic 6-month closure. Those people were evicted that night. So the rental ordinance is working. I think you'll find, since it's only been 3 months, I'm very happy with the way it is working and the success we're having with that at this point.
As mayor and public safety director, it is my #1 responsibility to protect the health, safety, and welfare of all Williamsport residents. Here are the facts. At the courts in Memorial Park, #1, needles and drug baggies have been found. #2, foul, obscene language occurs. #3, families have been intimidated, thus causing them not to return. #4, the park is constantly trashed. #5, last year our whole city knew about the actions that I took in regards to removing the hoops. Even some critics agreed that they would help make things better at the courts. However, they did not, and I was forced, with regret, to remove the hoops. Parks are for families. This one has not been family-oriented, but soon it will be. You know, there is a criminal trial going on in regards to a killing at Flanagan Park. Does everybody know that? There is. And it happened near the basketball court. There are similarities between the Memorial Park courts and Flanagan courts. There's only one difference. Someone has not been shot at Memorial yet. My action was proactive, and I stand by it to protect lives. Let's work together. There's some issues going on at Los Park now. Let's work together so these same issues do not occur at Los, and we can keep the courts there. I publicly never said that I was going to remove courts throughout the city, so I want to make that clear, that there's a bunch of nonsense going on, that the mayor's anti-basketball. I am not anti-basketball. The facts are that these issues are occurring at that particular site. Number 6, children have been recruited at the basketball courts at Memorial Park to join gangs and to sell drugs. I wish Councilman Williamson, who says that he attends that park with his children, would be here to see a video that we're going to show you. I'm going to finish by making a couple other words to you. We have a heroin epidemic in our nation, our state, county, and city. Our administration is working hard, but I need everyone's help. Thank you, Team Wmspt, the Heroin Task Force, the Wmspt Crime Commission, the Wmspt police officers, and anybody else that's helping us. Fighting this heroin epidemic is my #1 priority. We are near a crisis. There has been 15 drug overdoses this year in the county. 19 occurred last year. Therefore, on June 5th of this year, 2014, I have scheduled a heroin summit with national officials to be held in this city. We have reached out to the Vice President of the United States, Joe Biden, U.S. Senator Pat Toomey, U.S. Senator Bob Casey, U.S. Representative Thomas Marino, which he said he will attend, U.S. Representative Lou Barletta. We spoke to him today. He will be here. We have invitations out to Governor Corbett, Pennsylvania Attorney General Kathleen Kane, Philadelphia Mayor Michael Nutter, our district attorney, county commissioners, local mayors, chairpersons of the Heroin Task Force, and Chamber of Commerce. There is no compromise when it comes to life. The drug dealers must leave. All of them. Zero tolerance. Chief Forsman.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Chief Gregory Forsman, Williamsport Bureau of Police. I'm sure that we were saved for last because typically public safety is the #1 hot topic in most communities. As you all know, we're facing, as the mayor has alluded to, a serious situation involving narcotics, that primarily distribution of heroin. Law enforcement, as it has over the past 30 years, the traditional type of law enforcement has become ineffective. We have been brainstorming over the last couple of months with a new concept that my Assistant Chief Tim Miller has been researching and has come up with the concept, which I think is a very good concept. It's called Team Wmspt. I'm sure that some of you have seen it. heard about it, talked about it, it's been blogged, it's been on Facebook, we've been discussing it. And the concept of it is extremely simple. All we're looking to do is empower you, the people, to assist us and help yourselves take back your neighborhood. That's what we're looking to do. We can't do it by ourselves. Like I say, traditional law enforcement and the way it has in the past doesn't work. We need a new way. The jails are full. The judicial system is clogged up. You know, we can go out here and we can arrest all the people we want to on a daily basis, which we do. We jail them, we put them in jail, and they're walking the streets the next day. That's not the solution. We need to find a way that they don't repeat their crimes and give them some way of taking, basically, so they don't repeat their crimes or don't commit crimes at all. We think this new concept may help dramatically. With that, I'm going to turn this over to Assistant Chief Miller and have him give you a small presentation of what we're seeing in the parks, why the mayor made the decision that he made for the removal of the hoops, and we're going to give you the concept of Team Wmspt and why we think it'll work and why we need your help. Thank you.
Mayor, I request permission to speak openly and honestly with the members of the public.
Yes, you may.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me make something perfectly clear. This badge right here is heavy. I don't expect anybody in this room to know what it's like to carry the weight of this badge. Let me make something else clear. I don't do what I do for politics, and I don't do it for votes. I despise politics. Politics is what brought us to where we are today in this community. That is a fact. My father was a chief of police under Mayor Jesse Balloon. Which means, when people talk about the influx, my father has to take responsibility for it. My father died at 53 years old after giving 31 years to this city. 53 years old, cancer gone, accomplished nothing. Zero. I refuse to wear this badge and to end up like my father and have accomplished nothing. I am sick and tired of the public pointing fingers at the police. We are busting our tails and we are getting our tails kicked. This is a huge, huge problem. Now, there are people in the community who are upset because, yes, a police officer posted a video on the internet. Let me tell you why I did it. Because sometimes, for a community to wake up, they need to become outraged. Now, I am not endorsing vigilante justice. That is not what I am advocating. We are all victims. Everybody in this room, me, the chief, the mayor, everybody in this room are victims of this epidemic. All of us. And it's going to take everyone in this room to solve the problem. So this is going to be uncomfortable for about the next 15 minutes. But this is 30 years overdue. And I really don't care if politicians don't like it. Please, ask for my resignation and you'll have it tomorrow morning. That's how sick and tired I am of no solution.
The only person that can ask for your resignation will be me, and you're not going anywhere.
First of all, let me remind you, as a law enforcement officer, my fundamental duty is to serve mankind, to safeguard lives and property, to protect the innocent against deception, the weak against oppression or intimidation, and the peaceful against violence and disorder, and to respect the constitutional rights of all persons to liberty, equality, and justice. Furthermore, according to my oath, I will never act officiously or permit personal feelings, prejudices, animosities, or friendships to influence my decisions. With no compromise for crime and with relentless prosecution of criminals, I will enforce the law courteously and appropriately without fear, malice, or ill will. I recognize the badge of my office as a symbol of public faith, and I accept it as a public trust to be held as long as I am true to the police service. The truth. We keep hearing about a heroin epidemic. If this is truly an epidemic, and it is, why are we not treating this as such? For many years, the police were not given the freedom to express their position on this problem. This epidemic has raised a whole new level of frustration among men and women who serve the community as members of law enforcement. The problem in our city has escaped a solution due to a political climate that repeatedly changes, and as a result, the solutions that come to fruition are temporary and tend to be band-aids that fall off every time the political climate changes. This city has become one of the biggest victims in the war on drugs. First off, truth be told, there is no war on drugs. The war is against our own people. Wars do not involve objects such as drugs. They involve people. It is no secret that our prison walls are burgeoning with inmates who have been arrested for various drug offenses. This causes everyone in the criminal justice system to ponder what to do. Our response is to find creative alternatives to reduce the amount of food being fed to the beast. The problem is no one is working together. Instead, they're working against one another. The cycle continues on and on. What to do? After years of watching the system fail us, many of us in law enforcement who are honest enough to admit it find ourselves doing some soul searching and asking ourselves, is this really worth it? Most of us believe that it is, out of hope for our fellow man, so we continue to also be victims in this fight. So many will ask, how can the police be victims? Due to the gravity of the epidemic that has been going on for 30 years, the public has cried out to the police to stop it. The police act upon the cries of the public, and as a result, our efforts are seen as intrusive, with mere encounters, vehicle stops, warrant services, and arrest among members of our minority community, causing a great divide. We are no longer seen as a part of the community, as we have become the enemy. History and economic conditions have many feeling there is no way out, so their drug dealing is justified. Arrest and incarceration are inevitable, and it's nothing to be afraid of. Many local drug dealers who are arrested are low level and tend to accrue extensive criminal histories, yet face very low and very predictable risks of being incarcerated. Research has shown that the average dealer can make hundreds of drug transactions between each arrest. And most arrests result in low-level sanctions, landing them back on the street to continue the vicious cycle. The deterrence value is minimal at best. We as policemen see the truth every day that many pretend doesn't exist. We are not allowed to share the truth with anyone because the truth may hurt. It'll hurt the climate that we've all become accustomed to. The fact of the matter is pretty simple. The truth is like a lion. You do not have to defend it. Let it loose and it will defend itself.